Today's learning target is I can multiply positive and negative fractions and evaluate algebraic expressions with fractions. When I'm asked to multiply fractions, like I am here, it asks me to find the product. Product means multiplying. All I have to do is simply multiply across the fractions. Okay, so in this case, 1 times 2 is 2, and 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, now it also tells me to put it in simplest form, so I know to do that. I have to find a number I can divide both the numerator and denominator by. In this case, I see 2, so my fraction in simplest form would be 1/9. Now I want to show you a second way that you can do these that will actually make your life easier when problems become more difficult, and that's if I simplify right away at the beginning. So when I look at this, I do the same thing. Can I divide both the numerator and a denominator by the same number? They don't have to be right on top of each other. It could be 1 here and 1 here. And I see that I have 2 and 6. Okay, I could divide both those by 2, and I would get 1 here and 3 here. And now I multiply across. It's 1/9, and that put it in simplest form right away. Let's say this problem was negative 1/6 times 2/3. I do it the same way, except my answer would be negative because 1 negative times 1 positive is always negative. If I'm going to be multiplying mixed numbers, like I have here, 2 1/3 times 2 5/7, first thing I have to do is to get them into improper fractions. So if you remember, we've done that. So to do that, you're going to take the denominator times the whole number. 2 times 3 is 6, and then add the numerator. And that gives me 7. So I'm going to have 7/3. Okay, and I'm going to have that times, okay, I do the same thing here. Take my denominator times my numerator. That's 14, plus 5 is 19. So I have 19/7 as my improper fraction. Okay, now I'm going to solve that. Now, this is a good example of why simplifying first is going to save you, because if I didn't, I would take 7 times 19, and I'd get that, and then I'd take 3 times 7, and I'd have that for my denominator, and then I'm going to have to simplify that. However, if I simplify it right now, I take a look and I see there's 7 here and there's 7 here. I can divide both those by 7, and I'm going to get 1. So I'm going to just cross that out. I'm going to put 1 there, cross that out, put 1 there. Now it becomes much easier to solve. I have 19 for my numerator, and I have 3 for my denominator. So my 19/3 I'm going to put into a division problem to figure out how many holes I have. So I did that, 19 divided by 3. Okay, that gives me 6. Okay, so I'm going to have 6 holes. And then there's a remainder of 1 here, you see. So I'm going to have 1, and I have to keep the same denominator, which is thirds. So that would be 19/3 would be 6 1/3. Alright, now I'm going to evaluate or solve 1/2 a times b if a equals 6/7 and b equals -4/9. So the first thing I do is write that problem out, and I fill in for a and b, the fractions that belong there. So now I'm going to simplify, and remember, as long as I simplify any numerator by any denominator, I can do that. So I can see here's a 2 and here's a 4. I see 2 will go into both of those. So I'm going to go divide that by 2 and that by 2. That gives me 1 here and 2 here. Okay, now I see I have a 6 here and a 9 here. 3 goes into both of those. So I'm going to simplify that, those two. So 3 goes into 6 twice, and 3 goes into 9 3 times. Okay, and as I look at any of the others, I don't see any others that I can simplify. So I'm going to multiply my numerators, and I get 4. And I'm going to multiply my denominators. 1 times 7 times 3 is 21. Okay. Oh, now I almost forgot I have a negative right here. So it has to be negative. Honestly, probably what I should have done is when I solved it and I saw that there was a negative, I should have put the negative in my answer right there, and then I should have simplified. That way I wouldn't have forgotten it, because I could have forgotten that if I wasn't careful. If I was asked to solve a problem like this, where I have a whole number times by a fraction, okay, I'd want to write it out, and let's just write that whole number as a fraction And now I just solve this the exact same way. So I could simplify before doing it. I get 1 and 4, and now it's just a matter of multiplying across. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 1 is 1, and so 12 over 1 is just 12.